Thank you guys for joining me. So, today I want to discuss an activity I did in the past. I actually went on a course, it was called Branch Manager Academy, which was back in the day. I was a 2IC, which is second in charge, and I worked for a company, Old Mutual, for a couple of years, like 5 years. But for me, one of my goals was to be a branch manager. And then they actually selected a couple of us to go on a course called Branch Manager Academy. And there we covered various subjects like being a brand ambassador, what it means to be a leader, and at the time they called it a guide. We didn't refer to it as manager, we referred to it as a guide, meaning that you actually will guide your staff to success, and so I will, in future, I'll go into more detail with regards to that. But I found something in my memory box as well. So if you've been following my videos, my channels, and watching my videos on customer experience, on all the other things I've been up to, I have made mention that I have this memory box, and in the memory box is a bunch of letters from back in the day, and I sort of kept it. And now I'm just creating these digital memories about it. And so the other day I found something. It's an activity from this course I was on, Branch Manager Academy, and it's this activity. It's like it's called My Personal Resilience, and this was done in 2016, and it was the 15th of June 2016. Not sure if you can see the date over there. So I like to find these things because it actually takes me back to, the past, and it makes me just, when I do some self reflection, I can just see like what my thoughts were back then, and like just how I've evolved since then. And it's quite interesting. So I'm gonna go into a couple of things now that I jotted on this chart with regards to my personal resilience and what my mindset was back in 2016. And we'll chat about, when I say chat about it, I would like you to like engage with me on social media, either in the comment box, or you can email me by googling Brands by Andrea and find my email address over there. Then we can maybe do a video call, or we can do like some sort of podcast or anything for that we can publish on social media, just so that we can you know start a conversation around this. And the goal is always to help someone else on their journey, which if whatever avenue um that is, like whether we're talking about customer experience, whether we're talking about um, being authentic, whether we're talking about private poetry, all the other things that I'm busy with on my YouTube channel. It is always with the goal of assisting someone else, okay, based on past experiences. Um, so this activity goes as follows. It says resilience is the ability to, number one, cope with the challenges of daily living. Number two, overcome stress, hardship, and even trauma. And number three, remain focused and productive through tough times. So then it has a few blocks here. It says my resilience characteristics. And at the time, remember this is back in 2016. So I, one, two, three, four, five. So I ticked five of these boxes, and I'll go through all of them and I'll let you know which ones I ticked at the time. So number one, it says awareness, then strong problem solving skills, understanding that setbacks are part of life, so a survivor, not a victim. This is all like resilience characteristics. So as I mentioned them, you can just um, think about your own journey in terms of resilience and let me know which of these boxes you would tick. Okay, so I'm gonna read that again from the top. Awareness, strong problem solving skills, understanding that setbacks are part of life, survivor, not a victim, internal locus of control, able to ask for help, strong social connections. So, which of these mostly apply to you? So, back in the day in 2016, this is what I ticked. I ticked awareness. I ticked understanding that setbacks are part of life. Um, I ticked over here survivor, not a victim. And I also ticked able to ask for help. Um, Sometimes this is sort of like linked to pride. Um, Sometimes people can be too proud to ask for help. And at the end of the day, that can actually come around to bite you and really have a bad impact on the outcome of whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So, say for example, you're really struggling with something and you need assistance, or you don't know how you're going to overcome a certain challenge, and you feel like you're alone, you at it alone, there's nobody to assist you, then what you should be doing is you should be asking for help. So if you don't have any family or friends close by, there's always someone that is able to assist you. So then you can, depending on of your the problem you're facing, basically you can then consult someone, either a professional, or you can google about it, or you can speak to someone about it instead of just thinking that there's no solution for your problem, and then you just feel like you want to give up. You know what I mean? Try discussing the problem with someone, and they may be able to give you a solution to your problem so that you can overcome that challenge. And this goes back to what I said about helping someone else with regards to your past experiences, um, which means there are people that hasn't yet faced like certain challenges, and by them like watching videos like these or reading stories based on people's experiences, they will then start to get wise with regards to that certain situation, and then they are able to sort when they are faced with something similar, they have an idea as to how they can navigate toward success. You know what I mean? Instead of um, when the challenge arises, they are in a position where they don't know what to do, and they don't know who to ask, or if you have too much pride, it can become a barrier for you, and then you're going to delay the success of whatever you're trying to achieve. Ask yourself, is it worth it to be too proud to ask for help? And how is that helping you at the end of the day? Because it's nothing to, like, you can be really smart, but I can tell you now, there are things in life that you don't know. Sometimes when you are really intelligent, then the simple things become complicated. So, back in the day, if you have been following my journey, I used to be a perfectionist, and I had faced a lot of challenges when I had this mindset, because I was, when I had like certain discussions with regards to um complicated situations, then I made sure that I knew everything, I prepared everything. Um, I was well researched. So when I entered a meeting, for example, I would be well prepared to give a intelligent answer. You know what I mean? Not that my goal was to give an intelligent answer, but my goal was to be well prepared and to be able to have that meeting and discussion with whatever the topic was, you know what I mean? But I was so stressed out in terms of before entering a meeting, I, the night before or the day before or a couple of days before, I would be researching every angle of that topic or subject so that I can make sure that when I walk into the room and or I have this discussion, that I won't be caught off guard. You know what I mean? But what happened when I did these things, I felt like so much anxiety, and it was like it it just wasn't a nice feeling. It was like I was over prepared, and even though I was over prepared and I walked into a meeting or interview, I would then, when the question would actually come up or someone would ask my opinion, in some cases I would be like, I would just go blank, because then I'm thinking that person didn't phrase the question the way I expected it. And so now the way my response is not going to be the way I prepared it. How whack is that? That is how that is the mindset I had. I was a total perfectionist in terms of over preparing and making sure I knew everything. But this is what I'll go into this on another time with regards to perfectionism and all those things and how it impacted me, because I'm now on an authentic journey. And right now, I'm like, I don't really prepare too much. I do a little bit of research, but for me, I'm more focused on being present. So I would prefer having a chat with someone and just going with the flow in terms of what I hear from that person by listening properly, and then responding according to the knowledge I have. And if I don't know, I would ask the person, can you elaborate? Can you rephrase? Can you um, I will ask them if I don't know what it means, a word, if there's a word that I don't know, or if they're asking a question in a way that I don't understand, I will ask them, what do you mean by that? You know what I mean? And then I will answer according to my knowledge, but I will make sure I research where I can and take that accountability and responsibility. But I'm not going to be over prepared like I was in the past, and then I'm stuck in terms of not knowing how to answer or address the situation, because I prepared like so many pages just for a simple chat. And it's just unnecessary anxiety where you can utilize your time for other things. So, also back in the day, I used to, when I had that mindset, wasn't really answering. I was answering for me, but I was also answering for what the other person wanted to hear. You know what I mean? So, based on that person, I would then answer in such a way to make that person, um, also to give my answer in a way so that that person can find my answer acceptable. And now I just think that is total nonsense. Okay, for me, I want to be authentic, so I want to really just use my listening skills and just speak the way I need to speak and just answer in a genuine, honest way to whoever's in front of me. And if I do need to do research, I will do research, but I will ask if I'm not sure of um, anything in a conversation. But if you all have too much pride, it can cause it can cause a barrier, and then you might not want to ask a question, which means you leave with less knowledge and you're actually shooting yourself in the foot. But anyway, I will go into I'll make a couple of videos with regards to that kind of mindset and my personal experience. And please do send in your comments with regards to your experiences. If you are perfectionist right now, do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you disagree with what I'm saying? And why? And yeah. So for now, I'm just focusing on this. This is with regards to resilience. Um, so let me know which of those boxes you ticked. And then I'm just going to do a couple of these, and then I'm going to do a few videos, and then it will be like part one, part two, etc., so that you can just follow the process from there onward. So number one on this chart says my meaning in life. Then it sort of like elaborates with regards to people, significant causes, or faith. And then there's a question that says, what gives me meaning in life? I wrote here at the time, the people I love, relationships, my family, and close friends. So, is it true? Is it true today? What gives me meaning in life? People I love, my family, and close friends. Yes, it is true. That is what I'm about. I'm very much about um my people, and when I say my people, I say I'm talking about people that really um get the basics right in terms of really show up for you in terms of support, and I mean emotional support. They're there to listen to you, and they listen properly. They don't just want to speak all the time so that they can just like have their airtime, and then it's a one-way conversation type of thing. My friendship group has gone from a very big friendship group to a very small friendship group because I have now selected who I mean the people that are for me. um, I understand well who I would like to, or who I would like to allow in my personal space, who I would like to share my personal information with, or have a intimate conversation with. And that's just how I am right now. So that being said, I have had friendships. So if you're following my channel, and you've been watching my videos, you should know that I refer to friends as pals. So I'm going to use that term right now. Um, so I had pals for years and years and years, many years, and today I'm not really that close with those people. And then if I'm out there and I meet someone new, and I think that we can connect well, then I would give the person an opportunity to sort of build a relationship with me. You know what I mean? um so someone I meet today, um what I'm trying to say is, even though there are people that I know for many, many years, and I won't compare that relationship to someone that I know a couple of months, because it all depends on the effort that that person puts in, and how they show up in terms of the relationship, and how they really connect with you as a pal. And that is how I decide who is for me. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to consider years and years of friendship when at the end of the day you going to stab me in the back, if you know what I'm saying. So I don't compare people. Each one is different, and each one will eventually reveal to you um if you really do matter to them. So yeah, I do agree. It is still true about me. The people I love, my family and close friends. And then when it comes to family, I have my own definition of family. So same applies with the example I just made about friends. For me, family is like my pals are like family today, because I always say I don't have pals or friends, I have family, because that is how I am in terms of the people I meet. I make sure that I put in proper effort in that relationship, and that person, obviously I do expect them to um, reflect that effort back to me. If they're not interested, then they know where the door is, they can go. um, but if they are really willing to have a good relationship in terms of like being a good pal or whatever the case may be, then that person is basically like family to me. So my definition of family is not necessarily um, like blood, if you know what I mean. So it doesn't mean that my cousin, for example, um, it doesn't have to be my cousin, it could be a friend of mine or pal of mine that I consider family. So it's a diverse of people that I consider family, if that makes sense. What's your thoughts on that? Let me know. So I will always say I don't have friends or pals, I have family, and that means some of my family, like that I've been born, like I've been born into, will like I will not necessarily, these relationships that hasn't survived, let me say it that way. But my own definition of family and friends or pals, etc., that have now become my family. That is like people that are loyal to me, people that are genuine, people that want to pursue a relationship with me, etc. Um, those people I consider family. So, yes, the statement is still true. And then I'm going to do one last one quickly, and this is number two on this activity sheet says my unique strengths. So, my unique strengths, situation specific skills. I said, yeah, at the time it was planning. Is it true today? Yes, it is. But I don't plan the way I used to in terms of that perfectionist mindset. Um, where you plan up until you sick, if you know what I mean. So you plan the whole time and never execute, if you know what I mean. You planning the whole year, for example, and when the time comes, then nothing happens. You know what I mean? So it's still true. Planning is one of my skills, but I am more now, I have a more authentic approach to it now in terms of planning, and it doesn't take me that long anymore, and doesn't give me that much anxiety to get it like perfect, you know. And the second one here says creative thinking. Is it true? Yes, it is true. I am a creator now as well, so I have my own e-commerce stores, as you know, um, brands by Andrea. So creative thinking, that yes, that is true. Then it talks about character strengths: respectful, opinions of others, and then reliable. Yes, it is true. So respectful, yes, it is true of me now today. Opinions of others, I put there in brackets. So I respect the opinions of others, regardless of whether or not I agree or disagree. I would like to hear their opinion. I would like to hear what their thought process is. What are they thinking? Why are they thinking that way? Um, just out of curiosity and respect for another person. You know what I mean? So that is still true about me. Reliable. Yes, it is true. I think this one, one can't answer it about, you can't answer it about yourself. Someone else will have to let you know whether or not you are reliable. But I think people can still rely on me. And then accountable. Yes, it is true. I believe in accountability, and I do. I am shocked when to actually witness some people dodging accountability, like all the things they would say to avoid accountability can really be hilarious sometimes. Um, the things I've heard in terms of just the things I've heard people say to avoid accountability is laughable, because some people, they will sit and talk an entire hour just dancing around the actual truth, and instead of saying, hey there, I made a mistake, you know what I mean, I did the wrong thing, and how can I fix it, or do you have any advice for me to get this right next time? That is linked to pride, where they don't want to let you know that they have made a mistake, and they will rather try and dodge that whatever they did wrong. They will dodge it for days and months, up until you say, okay, it's fine, let's move on. even though both of you know that that person should be accountable for their actions. So that type of people, by the way, or people with that characteristics, let me tell you that. So to me, it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, how you look, how your hair looks, how your face looks, how you dress. It is about what characteristics you have, how your character is. So, for example, um, if you, the example I just made now, if you want to avoid accountability, for example, you're busy with a task and someone did the wrong thing, but they have too much pride to admit that it's a mistake. They need a little bit of help. They are now dancing around the answers for days and months, and it's just wasting a whole lot of time. In a professional capacity, I would probably try to wrap up the task and move along, and hopefully never be teamed up with that person again. If I'm the manager in that situation, then I will address it in a formal way. There are processes that you can follow to deal with it. If I'm in a personal capacity, if it's like someone that's is already my pal or wants to be my pal, or we're in the process of it and you're dodging accountability around me, it's going to be over before you know it. So I'm just going to first try to help you in terms of getting there and letting you know that it's okay. If you made a mistake, we can move on from it if you admit it, and I can help you to do things better in future. If I don't know how, then we can find someone to help you. But if the person is obviously trying to ex- escape accountability, then that person is not for me in a personal capacity. It is a hell no. So that is just where I'm at right now in terms of people avoiding accountability. And for me, it is nothing to say sorry to someone. I don't mind saying sorry. I say it all the time. And obviously, I try and do the right thing, but it's not always possible. And if I do make a mistake, I will say sorry, my mistake, or I did the wrong thing. Can you help me? You know what I mean? I will ask for assistance where I need assistance, and take accountability where I need to take accountability. Um, so I'd like to hear your thoughts on that as well, accountability. So I'll make a next another video on, let me see how many steps there are. That goes up until, there are like 7 steps on here. So I'll go through all of them and let you know which of these things are still true about me today. Um, yeah, so thanks for watching again. Watch part 2 to follow the continuation on this, and let me know your thoughts and experiences so we can proceed to help more people with regards to this. Thank you.